Welcome into the show. Happy Tuesday. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you, and here's what we have coming up. A major update on Christian McCaffrey. We're going to hear from a doctor as to why McCaffrey is flying to Germany to seek treatment on his Achilles injury that continues to linger, and it won't go away. And then the second story that we want to hit here on the rundown: will the Niners trade for a defensive lineman following Javon Hargrave's season-ending injury as he tore his triceps? Before we dive in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. On yesterday's two shows combined, we picked up 66 new subscribers here on the Niners Report. On today's show, can we beat that number? As you can see here, a little more than 500 people away from 143,000 subscribers. So if you're coming across the program for the first time, and you love the Niners, and you want shows every single day that are informative, insightful, entertaining, thought-provoking, that involve you because you have a voice on this show, hit that sub button, and here's what we have cooking. As for the latest on Christian McCaffrey, let's start cooking. Placed on injured reserve prior to Week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. What that means, he has to miss at least the next 4 games. We're 2 games in, but he's nowhere close to returning. And I had warned everybody that when McCaffrey went on IR, it doesn't mean that he's just going to be out for the mandatory 4 games. This could linger for a little bit longer. This weekend, McCaffrey spotted at the San Francisco airport boarding a flight to Munich, Germany. And then yesterday, probably because that photo was making the rounds on social media, Kyle Shanahan, in his news conference with the media after choking that game away against the Rams, said that McCaffrey, flying to Germany, going to spend a few days there to seek treatment on his Achilles. So McCaffrey flying there presumably over the weekend, and this was the picture that was making the rounds on social media. It is clearly Christian McCaffrey. Unfortunately for him, somebody saw him, snapped the picture, and McCaffrey is just looking at that person, probably saying, I can't do anything in peace. I'm trying to get this Achilles right. For all of the Niner fans out there, but McCaffrey has some luggage, the Nike bag, another carry-on, a little jacket here, rocking the style of hat that he likes to rock. And as you can see, he's at the terminal, about to board a flight to Germany. And so when this picture starts to get talked about on social media, the person who actually tweeted this out said, is McCaffrey going to Germany to get the Kobe treatment? Some insight there. Kobe Bryant, many years ago, and obviously RIP to him, started to have a lot of pain in his knees. And I just read Tim Grover's book, who was a trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and a lot others. And he talked about how Kobe went to Germany for this treatment to get a PRP injection, platelet-rich plasma injection in his knees, and that was able to extend his career. As for why McCaffrey is going over there, we're going to detail all of that coming up just around the corner. As for the timeline, some people have asked for the Christian McCaffrey calf and Achilles issue timeline. Here it is. So going into the final week of the regular season last year, the Niners were set to take on the Los Angeles Rams, and McCaffrey did not play in that game for what Kyle Shanahan called a mild calf strain. Now, the Niners had the number 1 seed in the NFC. They had a first-round bye, and Shanahan had said then, I'm very confident that McCaffrey is going to be able to play in the divisional round. So the Niners were very cautious then because McCaffrey sat out the regular season finale, and then they had that first-round bye. So that gave CMC the Offensive Player of the Year, and he was named that a few weeks later, a couple of weeks to rest. The Niners then give him that contract extension. They give him guaranteed money. They up his average annual value last offseason. That's why he didn't report to OTAs, as I had said here on the show, despite people giving me hate. And then McCaffrey comes back to OTAs. He didn't practice, but then he did start to practice at the start of training camp in August of this year, and he re-injured his calf. Now, he had said if there were a game, he'd be able to take the field. He came back to practice and re-injured that calf. And then back a few weeks ago in early September, Kyle Shanahan had said that McCaffrey was dealing with Achilles tendonitis as part of that calf issue. And now here late in September, McCaffrey is going to Germany. So what does this all mean? Let's revisit that question. We are going to hear from a doctor of physical therapy, Jeff Mueller. You can give him a follow on X. He does a great job in detailing some of these player injuries across the National Football League, like Dr. David Chow, otherwise known as Pro Football Doc, who is a friend of the show. We've had him here on the Niners Report. And Jeff Mueller put out a very long tweet on Monday about the specifics, why McCaffrey is going over there, what this could lead to. And he started it off by saying this: Christian McCaffrey going to Germany, the keys you need to know on tendon injuries and the impact of injections. So I'm going to share the screen, and this is what Mueller had to say on X. Tendon injuries don't heal quickly or well on their own due to poor blood supply, especially if there are micro tears or degeneration. One key issue with tendon injuries is poor collagen production and disorganization, leading to mechanical issues of the healing tendon and the issues with loading and the risk of future rupture. Now, I am not a doctor. That's why we're hearing from Dr. Jeff Mueller. I do take health very seriously. I supplement a lot. I take a lot of collagen, and it's important for a lot of people to take collagen for skin, nails, bone, muscles, joints, all that stuff. But the point that he's making here, the collagen production, sometimes to specific tendon injuries, there is a lack of collagen production there, and that might be a reason why McCaffrey simply cannot get better. More from Mueller here. PRP injections, that's what Kobe Bryant got in his knees, as I said earlier, can provide a high concentration of growth factor-filled platelets that can stimulate collagen production and improve organization of that collagen production, leading to improved mechanical properties. Without help, your body often finds itself in a perpetual inflamed state that continues to get irritated with loading. My guess is this is where CMC found himself with growing frustration. Couldn't get back on the field and didn't feel good. So CMC is flying to Germany because they have the ability to produce a higher concentrated PRP, which should accelerate healing, which I would assume he's seeking due to frustration of how long it has already taken and lingered. And there are specifications and specific rules here in the United States for some of the treatments that you can get. A lot of people will go overseas to get PRP injections. They will go overseas to get other types of injections which will help with healing. Sometimes the cost affordability is a lot better internationally as compared to the United States as well. Back to Mueller here. With these injections, some athletes have been able to return within 6 weeks of the injections, even though remodeling is still occurring through up to 12 months. The injection should allow for quicker and improved collagen production, organization, and return to loading ability. CMC sprinting, jumping, cutting, load and tension through the Achilles. Because obviously you have to be very careful with this injury. It's not without risk, but return has been very possible. This is why I'm not viewing CMC flying to Germany as a bad thing. He's seeking an accelerated healing rate. The best chance of that is in Germany, not in the United States, and I do believe this gives him a shot to return after the 49ers Week 9 bye in the Week 10 to 12 range. So it could still be a little while here. It really does depend on how the tendon responds to this treatment, but many of the outcomes have been very good, with a particular spike improvement close to 2 months, which would be Week 12 if he's getting treatment starting this week. Tensile loading properties will be the key. Another variable to consider is that a lot of studies discuss strictly PRP injections for non-elite athletes. So the hope is that CMC is in the top percentile for recovery with this treatment. In Germany, everyone heals differently, but hope remains. Stay tuned. So the positive here is that Mueller is optimistic this could work. And he just gave us a lot of reasons for why these athletes will go internationally. A lot of people will get stem cells internationally as well because there are limitations with what you can do in America as well. The concern There's no guarantee that this works. So Christian McCaffrey could be out for a little while. He could be out for a long while. He might not return this year. He could return at some point this year. Those are the issues, and this is going to continue to be a story until we know how McCaffrey is recovering here. World-class athlete, that'll help with his recovery, hopefully speed up a little bit, but there's just no guarantee. So today's poll question is this. This will also be the pinned comment on today's Niners report, so scroll on down, get your votes in. Will McCaffrey play this year? Type P for play, I for he's going to continue to be injured. Let me know down in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for today's Niners report is ZBiotics. Get 15% off when you go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the screen for more information. Chase, what is ZBiotics? Well, pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. And just remember to drink the probiotic before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly, of course. Get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. The first time I tried ZBiotics a couple of years ago, I was banged up after some of our watch parties, and as instructed, I drank a bottle of pre-alcohol before any alcohol. I was amazed at how good I felt the next day. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinking, it makes such a difference the next day. Even after drinks the night before, I know I'll be able to be very productive. My run streak today is at 516 days. I've been doing a lot of weight training. I don't want to feel like crap. ZBiotics helps me feel good. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the left side of the screen, and you get 50% off your order. When you use the code ChatSports at checkout, you can also sign up for a subscription using my code so that you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Story number 2 of this Tuesday edition of the Niners Report on this beautiful Tuesday, September 24th, with all of you beautiful people rocking and rolling with us here today. Should the San Francisco 49ers, in the aftermath of that Javon Hargrave torn triceps, now that he's out for the year, trade for a defensive tackle? The Niners are already thin along the defensive line, especially at defensive tackle. And the lack of quality play there, stopping the run, and depth has contributed to this slow start for the Niners defense this year, and it's been a part of their downfall as a football team the last couple of years since DeMeco Ryans left. They haven't been able to stop the run. Now, the 49ers defensive line depth chart will look as such moving forward, where Nick Bosa will continue to start, Malik Collins will continue to start, Jordan Elliott will get elevated up to the starting role to take the place of Javon Hargrave. Leonard Floyd will start opposite of Nick Bosa, and Kevin Givens will be given more snaps. As for Javon Hargrave and Malik Collins, who they are as players at the defensive tackle spot, they are more pass rushing defensive tackles. That's always what Javon Hargrave has been. 2 years ago with Philadelphia, he had 11 sacks in that Super Bowl year. Last year, he had 7, and I had warned everybody. I liked the signing at the time. The Niners needed more pass rushing help at defensive tackle, but he has always been bad against the run. Malik Collins is more of a bigger body, and when you look at him, he looks more like an old school defensive tackle, but he too is more of that pass rushing specialist at the defensive tackle spot. So that has led to a lot of issues with San Francisco against the run. And until San Francisco can stop the run, they're probably not going to be able to get after the quarterback because teams are going to continue to run it. And then also what teams have been doing when the Niners are in that dime package, they're targeting Devondre Campbell a lot, who is not really a pass coverage linebacker. So there are a lot of issues with this defense right now, in addition to the scheme, the play calling, being bad on third downs, can't get after the quarterback, can't stop the run, and then all of the communication and scheme breakdowns on the back end. Pretty much everything that could go wrong for this defense has gone wrong, and this injury is going to hurt the Niners, no doubt. Jordan Elliott is more, though, of a run-stuffing defensive tackle. So far this year, he has one pressure on 36 pass rushing snaps. So he might be able to help the Niners in stopping the run alongside Malik Collins, but the depth takes a hit because Kevin Givens is also more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. He gets moved off his spot a lot when teams decide to run the rock right up the middle. So part of these Niners defensive issues have been stopping the run, and San Francisco over the last couple of years since the 2021 season has really missed DJ Jones. They've also missed this year Eric Armstead, who's playing for a dumpster fire with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he's been able to stay healthy, and now Javon Hargrave is hurt. Kalia Davis will also come back off of IR at some point. He had that knee injury during the preseason, and in that Tennessee preseason opener, he played well. And he is that wide-bodied, girthy, I know a lot of you like that word, defensive tackle who can plug the run gaps, and he has some quickness for his size to be able to get after the quarterback in passing situations. But he's also always been injured towards a ACL, at UCF. And then he's been injured a lot with the San Francisco 49ers. So Kyle Shanahan did say that we lose Hargrave. Hopefully we get Kalia Davis back, and that will help us absorb the lack of depth at defensive tackle, which is where the next portion of this conversation comes in. Could the Niners trade for DJ Jones? Maybe. This is a player who has scheme familiarity, organizational familiarity. He would be a scheme fit, and he's a player who's needed. The Denver Broncos this past week did take down the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I don't really expect the Denver Broncos to be a winning team this year. There was some chatter last year that maybe Denver could trade away DJ Jones. At the time, the Niners still had and still do have a need at defensive tackle. The Niners could definitely scour the defensive tackle market going into the NFL trade deadline in early November. It has been pushed back a week. That is of note, giving teams more time to scour the market and look at some potential options available. We'll see how they perform at the defensive tackle spot, how Kalia Davis is able to recover coming off that knee surgery that he had to undergo following that preseason game. But DJ Jones, definitely a name to watch for the San Francisco 49ers, and he could definitely help out this team. They've missed him over the last couple of years. What say you? Do the Niners need to trade for a defensive tackle? T for trade, S for stand pat. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and come back later because we'll have another show right here on the Niners Report.